Hi there, Izzy from Digital Goja Showrooms. Today we're going to take a look at the most common questions that are asked about the Altura Photo wireless flash trigger set for Canon. This will work with our Canon T6i, all the other Canon Rebels that are out there, plus any of the professional Canon cameras like the 5DSs, 5DRs, 5D Mark IIIs. Anything that has a Canon hot shoe will function with this particular Altura Photo Canon wireless trigger set. And I scoured the internets. I checked all the common questions and basic questions that people were asking, on Amazon, eBay, on Digital Goja's website, on customer service questions, customer service emails, and I put together the more popular questions that people are asking on how to work with this particular wireless trigger set. If this video is helpful to you, remember to always click the like button underneath. And remember to subscribe to our channel for future sessions and unboxings. And if you have any questions or comments, don't forget to post them underneath. Now, without further wait, let's take a look at how to work with the Altura Photo wireless trigger set for Canon. Can I work with multiple strobes with the Altura Photo wireless flash trigger set? Yes, you can. I've tried as many as 5. I don't think I would go past 5 because of the fact that it's a 433 megahertz connection. You might have a lot of interference. But notice how I have the Altura one here. This is the Altura ETTL. And I also happen to have an Altura Universal flash, which a lot of people are asking, well, can I work with a fully mechanical flash that doesn't have the TTL capability? Absolutely, because remember, the TTL information is not transferred wirelessly with these trigger sets. But I have both of these guys set to manual, and again, they're now synchronized. And as usual, I don't have to be line of sight. I mean, these guys could be facing in totally different directions, and they're still going to work because it's not an optical system. And the same goes for the frequency. I can be way out of the picture and completely on the other side of the Digital Goja showroom, and I still have full control over my wireless system. So again, this is something that can work with multiple flashes, so this way you have much more control over the lighting in your photographic environment. What is the best setting for my Canon Rebel T6i to work with the Altura Photo wireless flash trigger set? Well, honestly, when you do flash photography, you really need to be in control. So you have to set it to manual, especially since we're doing wireless with the Altura. The Altura does not transfer the TTL information wirelessly. So you have to do the setting on the camera so that it maintains the proper exposure. So notice that I have my command dial set to M, and now I'm going to turn on the camera. I've noticed that with this flash system, it works better between 1/125th of a second flash sync and up to 1/200th. Now, if you want to, you can program your camera so that it automatically sets the flash to 1/200th of a second. So that way you don't have to set the shutter speed, and you can pick the appropriate aperture. That way you can work with aperture value. I'm old school. I prefer setting it myself, and that way I can also set my ISO and I can set my lens opening. So right now I have it set to 5.6 because I'm working in about average about 6 to 8 feet distance. How do I attach my Altura Photo wireless flash trigger for Canon? Well, very simply, remember, this is the transmitter. This is the one that's going to go on your camera hot shoe. Notice this is the one that has the actual contacts. Those are the contacts that are going to align with the camera hot shoe contacts to make the connection. Again, very simply, slide it straight on. That's it. You don't want to do the wiggle side to side because you can damage both the shoe and the hot shoe. And then turn the knob and lock it in place. Now, here's your transmitter. And this is your receiver. This is the one that accepts the flash. Here I happen to have an Altura Photo ETTL flash. But again, this will work with any strobe that is out on the market that has the Canon contacts. And you can even work with manual strobes too. We'll go into that later on. And you're going to mount the strobe the same way, straight on. Again, you don't want to do the wiggle effect. And now the handy stand adapter, wireless adapter that you get with the flash, you want to place that on the bottom. And then we're again going to lock these in place by turning the knobs. Again, don't over tighten these, just enough so that you don't have any mishaps. And then again, when you slide this over, now that we're using the flash, you want to activate it to flash. And now you're ready to start working with it. How does the Altura Photo wireless flash trigger set for Canon synchronize with my Rebel? Well, again, you want to make sure that you have this set to manual. I now have my shutter speed set to 1/125th of a second. Now remember, this is a wireless frequency. So this is going to create a signal between the transmitter and the receiver. It's no longer line of sight like we were using before with the optical measuring system here. So this guy is the one that's now going to fire this. So you want to make sure you set your receiver to flash. You have three settings. You have flash, off, and camera. So you're going to move it to the back, which is for flash. Center is off and the front is camera. So now I'm going to activate my strobe. And on here, a lot of people like to leave it on TTL. Well, guess what? This doesn't transfer the TTL information wirelessly, so you really have to set it to the next setting, which is manual. So on manual mode, you can now choose the power output, and in turn, I can now fire this off. And notice, this does not have to be facing in that direction, so it fires every single time. Now, the beauty of it is that here I'm relatively close, but I'm going to walk around the Digital Goja showroom and notice how even from a distance this guy's firing. I'm right now I would say about 35 feet away and it still functions. I can walk all around the showroom and have full control without ever having to worry about it missing the shot. Again, it's creating a radio frequency. That way, you have full control over your lighting situation. So you can put this wherever you choose, you can bounce it, you can swivel, and this guy is going to control it for you every single time. Great technology. What are the little toggle switches that everybody keeps talking about inside the Altura wireless flash trigger set do? Well, these are your different channels. You have them on both your transmitter and your receiver. Notice you're going to have 4 channels, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm used to working in a controlled environment, so I don't have to worry about other photographers using wireless trigger sets around me. So I have them all set to the same direction, all facing upward. And you always have to have that same configuration in your receivers also. So here I go. I have them all facing upward on my solitary receiver that I'm using here. This way, they're making a proper connection and they're synchronizing with each other. And you'll notice that when you activate it to flash and you press a button, notice how when it makes a signal, it's actually activating the little green light on here. And that means that the signal is being transferred from the transmitter to the receiver. Now, if you're in a situation where you're working with a lot of extraneous radio frequency signals, that's the reason why you have 4 different channels. You can change those, but again, the same changes that you do on your transmitter have to be done on your receiver. You always have to be on the same channel. But the beauty of it is that you have different frequencies that you can go into, so you don't have any interference with whatever radio frequencies are around the area where you're shooting. Can I use a strobe attached to the receiver while I'm trying to do the remote control of the camera. No, you cannot. You can mount it on here, but it's not synchronizing properly because this is not giving the proper connection. Right now it's receiving most of the signal from here, which is what's telling it to now fire off the camera. So it's not taking into consideration that you're working with a strobe. So it'll fire, and look, the strobe fired, but your camera didn't fire. And then all of a sudden the camera fires and the strobe doesn't fire every time, it misfires. So you really don't want to do this combination. I mean, you can try it, but it's not going to guarantee that you're going to get a properly exposed image. So really, if you want to do this, you have to work with a optical wireless remote and switch over to putting the receiver with the flash at a distance with the transmitter on top. You really can't do this combination and expect to get a correct exposure. Can I use my Altura Photo wireless trigger set to control my Rebel T6i? Absolutely. Now, the configuration is totally different now. Now we're going to put this guy, which is your receiver, he's going to mount on top. Again, straight on, don't do any of this wiggly action, and turn the knob until you tighten it. Not excessively, just enough so this guy doesn't fly off. We don't want any accidents. Now, you're going to find a whole series of cables in there. There's a lot of them because they also give you cables for the larger studio strobes that are on the market, so you can control those wireless also. This is the one you want to look for. It basically has two of the standard headphone plug looking connectors on the side, the 2.5 jacks. You have a straight one, and you have this guy right here, which has an angle. This is the one that you want to plug into your actual camera. So we're going to look on the side right here and notice that there's one that says remote. It doesn't actually say remote, it shows you an icon of a remote. So you're going to pop that open, and this is where we're now going to plug this one. We want to use the one that has that right angle finder. We want to use the one that has that right angle configuration, so that way it turns properly. And then we're going to plug this guy, the one that's straight on, right into the little port that's on the side of your receiver, straight in. That's it. Now you can control the camera wirelessly, and you can put it on any setting you choose. So let's say, for example, you're doing sports mode and you want to do some continuous shooting. Set it to your sports mode, make sure that your camera's on, and you have it on your continuous shooting. And now on the top here, we're going to set it to the one that says camera. You're going to see flash, off. I want to set it to camera. So now it's set to the camera mode, which means that it's going to receive a signal from your connector, which is for your remote, to here. And we now control it with this guy. You hand hold it. Notice as I press it, it fires off. And again, this works at any distance. Right now I'm relatively close, but as usual, I can step away, walk around the Digital Goja showroom, and walk all the way over to the other side. Right now I'm about 45 feet away, but my camera continues to fire off when I choose to. It's a great feature if you're doing any kind of wildlife photography, or basically any kind of photography where you want to have your camera on a tripod and set it aside and you control it from a distance. What batteries do I need so I can work with the Altura Photo wireless trigger? Well, they're provided. Your transmitter uses what is called a 23A battery. Kind of funky. I've seen it in a lot of remote controls and garage door openers. And again, you're going to notice right on the side here, you're going to have the nomenclature that shows you the polarity for your positive and negative. You want to make sure you put this in there correctly, and then close it up. Now this is your transmitter, and you'll notice that the battery is functioning when you press the button on top, see the trigger, and it changes color. That's your remote triggering system. Now this one happens to be a one flash remote system, so it comes with one receiver. Again, there are other kits that also come for two flashes if you choose to. And this one works with a much more popular battery. standard AAA batteries. Again, they're provided. These are energizers. Proving, remember, try to always work with the best quality batteries. You don't want to buy some of these supermarket and drugstore and dollar store batteries that are, for a really economical product. You need something high quality because this is putting out a radio signal. And again, notice that you're going to see the nomenclature on the inside that shows your polarities. So you're going to place both batteries in there and then slide it closed. And this one has 3 settings. You have on, off, and camera. And when you move this, you're going to notice that the lights change. That means your batteries are properly inserted and the system is ready to go.